Hello students, in this video I'm going to demonstrate how we can draw a ceiling plan. So let's start with what is the ceiling plan and what's the difference between it and between the floor plan. Now for the floor plan, basically what we do is we take a cutting plane, and this cutting plane is usually at 1.2 meters or up to 1.5 depending on what we need. So when we're cutting through this building, for example, we can see the thickness of the wall. We're also cutting through the door, so we can see the door itself. So let's draw it something like that. And then we can see this window as well. The same thing goes for this side. We can see the thickness of the wall. The same thing goes for this wall. And then we can see the curtain wall in the middle with its frame and even the door that we have on this side. Now for the ceiling plan, what happens is that we are shifting this floor cutting plane, which we usually do, and after we do that, what we do is we draw the down part. But for the ceiling plan, we're going to cut around 2.5 to 3 meters depending on the height of the building. So we basically leave around 0.3 to 0.5 from the slab, sometimes more, sometimes less, depending on the case that we have in front of us. Now, as you can see, when I cut here, I'm cutting through the wall, but I'm not cutting through any doors or windows, which means that they will not appear in the ceiling plan. I'm just going to show the walls. For this side, as you can see, it's cutting through this curtain wall, which means that this window is going to show in the ceiling plan. So it's important to know the heights of everything that you're going to show in order to be able to draw the scene. And then we're going to draw everything that we see up here. So for example, if we have any like gypsum design, any chandeliers, any spotlights, difference in heights and ceiling, all of that is going to show in the plan itself. So let's start with an example. This is the plan that I'm going to show you. Now for this plan, first of all, what you need to understand is the shapes of the plan before we start with the ceiling plan. As you can see in this plan, we're following these lines. Now, from where did we get these lines? We got them from our concept, which formed our grid lines, and then from these lines, we got our floor plan. So as you can see, we have this shape in here, and then we have this shape, and then we have this shape that is connecting these two. So let's start with understanding our floor plan in order to be able to design the areas that we have above it. So in this floor plan, we have this corridor that is connecting these two areas. So I have this area, and then I have this area in here. This is the day function area, which includes seating, dining, TV, and kitchen. And this is for the night activities, which is basically our bed with a small closet in here. And then as you can see, this door is separating these two areas. And this side, you will have the vanity and the bathroom. For the corridor, it has a small console here. When you enter, you can place your stuff in it. And then we have this small study, which can be used for any office work or even just to have a cup of coffee in the morning. All these spaces have windows in them, and these windows are floor to ceiling, so they are full height, and they are all facing this view that we have here for the landscape. Okay, so I hope that the floor plan is now clear to you. You can see the functions, you can see the shapes of the furniture, which again is following the same lines that we had in our grid. So how to draw this the ceiling plan for this plan? what we're going to do is we're going to draw only the walls without any doors. So this door is not going to be drawn. And then for the windows, we're going to show these windows because they are floor to ceiling, which means that our floor or our ceiling plan will be something like this. Okay. Now, for the purpose of seeing the furniture when we are drawing the ceiling, so I can see the purpose or what I'm doing, I'm going to show these furniture, but they will not be drawn in the ceiling plan. That's why we recommend that you always use a tracing paper for your ceiling. Why is that? So you can see the furniture, you can see the functions, and you can plan the design of your ceiling according to what you see in the furniture. But again, make sure that you are not showing any pieces of furniture in your ceiling plan. Okay, so before we start designing the ceiling itself, I'm going to talk about the lighting design. What do we mean by lighting design? Lighting design is not like what is the shape of your chandelier. No, we're not talking about something like this. We're talking about designing layers of lighting in the space. Each layer will serve a specific function. So let me just hide the plan for now. Okay. And let's talk about our lighting. So we have three layers of lighting, three main layers, three main types of lighting. The first one is the ambient light. Ambient light means the lighting that basically gives you, it illuminates your space. It doesn't have to be harsh, it's just giving a general lighting in the space. So for example, in this image here, you will see that you can see the places because you have general lighting. So maybe I will add some, let me just add a layer up here. So maybe I will add some spotlights in here, or sorry, downlights. Maybe I will add some chandelier in the middle. So this is going to give general lighting. When I switch these lights on, when I click on the switch, I can see everything in the space. Okay? So this is the ambient light. Now the next thing we have is the task light, which is basically a lighting that you will direct on any function that you have. Okay, so for example here, I will work on this table. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have this task light that will give me direct lighting on my space. Okay, although everything is well lit, I can see everything in the room. I can even see the table, but sometimes I need more lighting on this side. So this task light will give me more lighting on this area. Okay, the same thing goes for these two spotlights that will give me more lighting on this table if I need to see this part. So this is basically a task light. The third type of lighting, or the third layer, is the accent light. Now, accent lighting basically is decorative, or as you can say, it will direct the attention to a specific area. So, for example, I have these shelves in here. I can add some hidden lights to give me a dramatic effect or to showcase the things that we have inside these shelves. So if I have this kind of hidden light here, this is called an accent lighting because it's giving light to this decorative part to emphasize these shelves. The same thing goes if I have, for example, a painting here on this wall. Let's say I have a painting. So if I add a spotlight directed to this painting, this is an accent lighting because I'm accenting this accessory or this space that I have in my office, for example. Okay, so let's talk about this area again. This is a kitchen. You can see that I do have some ambient lights. I do have some ambient lights that are giving me general lighting to the space. I have task lights that are giving me lighting above this island. I also have some hidden lights in here that are giving me task lighting on the counter that I have here. And then I have some accent lighting inside these shelves just to showcase whatever design we have, even though I will not need it. Okay, so it accents any design elements that we have in the space. I hope all of this is clear. Now let's go back to our plan. Let me just hide all these layers. Okay, so let's go back to our plan. Now this is our seating plan. Again, I will show the furniture just so you can understand the layout of the space while you are working. So how to start? You can either start by adding the ambient light first, which is just general light. So maybe, let me just add another layer. So maybe I will just add some random lights here, okay, to illuminate the space that I have. Okay, and then I'm going to get some task lights. So maybe I'm going to add some pendants on the dining table. I'm going to add some kind of chandelier on the coffee table, maybe some pendant lights here for reading or to access the stuff that I have. I will add some maybe lighting in the mirror in here to give me lighting for anyone who is standing in front of this basin. And then I'm going to get decorative light, which is basically to showcase. For example, let's say I have a painting here, so I will add a spotlight to give me lighting on this painting, and so on. So you can do it this way. For me, I prefer to tackle it the other way around. So I do prefer to, first of all, cover any things that I do have to add lighting for. For example, I do have this kitchen here, so I need lighting for this kitchen counter. I do have windows here, so I need to create openings in the ceiling to add my curtain. So the same thing goes for this area, for this cupboard that I have to the ceiling, and so on. So let's talk first of all about the windows. Now for the windows, let me just show you the how you're going to cover or how to create the curtain box. So as you can see, let me just add this layer here. So this is the curtain box, as we call it, which is an opening in the wall to add the curtain. So for the gypsum part, I'm going to start after a specific spacing from the wall to create this opening where I can add the railing for the curtain. Now you do need some wooden support and so on, but we're not going to go into more details about this part. Let's just talk about what we can see from down here. So this is my gypsum part, and then this is the opening, so I need to keep spacing, and then this is my wall. For the spacing between the wall and the curtain box, usually we need around 15 to 20 centimeters. This is a very enough, like it's a good area where you can use to add your curtains. But let's say you want to add some hidden light in here as well. So if I'm going to add a hidden light, let's say this is my wall, and then this is my slab. And now for the gypsum part, I'm going to add this area, and then in here, I'm going to add hidden light. Okay, so here I'm going to add a hidden light, and then I'm going to have my curtain. So if you're adding your hidden light in here, this means that you need to have more spacing to add the lighting as well, and for the effect of the lighting to show. Because if my curtain is somewhere like this, it will cover the lighting. So how much spacing I need for this? I will increase it. Instead of 15 to 20, I will go to 25 to 30. Okay, So you have 15 for your window or for your curtain, and then you have the extra part here where your lighting can show. It will go up, reflect into the ceiling here, and then it will reflect into the curtain, which will give you the lighting effect. So let's see it in our plan. I'm just going to add a layer where I can work on my ceiling. So this curtain box, it does not have to be on the window size exactly. If I keep it something like this, what will happen is when I add the curtain, sorry, let me just add color. So when I add the curtain, what will happen here? The lighting can enter from this side. So what we usually do is we keep around 20 centimeters from both sides. So I have 20 here and then 20 here. And then again, I don't want to add any lighting, so I will go with 20 centimeters, which means I'm going to take it maybe from this side to this side, and then I'm going to connect this part. But in order to not have any corners like this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to extend the ceiling opening from this one. Okay, so now I have the opening for my curtain. Now, if you have curtains from both sides, you will draw your curtain here and then your curtain here. But for me, I prefer to only have the curtain from one side in this design. Okay, so I will add something like this, but no need to add it from this side. Okay, so now I have the opening for my curtain. Now for the other area that I have in here, which is the bedroom, okay, I don't want to only cover this part. I want to cover the whole, I want to add lighting, and I want to add the lighting on this whole wall. So instead of creating an opening like this for the curtain, I'm going to create the opening from the beginning till the end. Okay, something like that. Now in this opening, I'm going to have my curtain here. And then I want to add the lighting. Now, how can you showcase your lighting? You need to add a hidden line for the lighting that you're adding in your ceiling. Okay, so this is how we're going to draw the hidden line. Okay, so now I'm done with these two windows. For this one, again, you can emphasize it by creating an opening. I don't want to add any lighting in this area, so I'm just going to keep it this way. And maybe you don't even want to add a curtain, so in this case, you don't have to even add a curtain box. So it all depends on the design that you have for the space. Next, I'm going to talk about this cabinet here. Now for this cabinet, if I create a section, for example, I will take a section this way. What happens is I have my slab and then I have my wall. Okay, and so this is the first wall, the second wall. And then I have my cabinet here. So some of you, what they will do is they will keep the cabinet something like this. So these are the doors. And then I do have all this area which is empty. So if you will keep it empty, it's better to close it with gypsum board, which means that you will not have any dust settling in here. You don't need to clean this area all the time. Another way to treat this part is to have these cupboards extended. So I do have another two cupboards here or three cupboards on the top, which means I can keep the ceiling normal, and then I do have all this extra spacing for storage. Another thing you can do is you can give general lighting or ambient lighting from this part, from above the curtain or above the cupboard from here. How can you do this? Let me just show you the image for that, which is something like this one. Okay, so above this cupboard, I'm going to add hidden light, and this hidden light is going to give me general lighting for this space. So if you're going to do this, what you're going to do is you're going to add line here. Okay, so this is a different level in the gypsum board, and then you're going to add your hidden light here like this. So this means that it will give you lighting in this area. Okay. Another thing I would like to tackle before I start designing this piece is the kitchen part as well. Now for the kitchen, as you can see in here, we do have a counter, and usually it will be something like this. So we have all these cupboards, okay? And then we have these upper cabinets. Now for the upper cabinets, the thickness or the depth is less than the depth that we have here. So this is 60, for example, and maybe this is 40, which means I have this spacing in here. Now, if you add the lighting here, what will happen is if someone is standing and trying, sorry, this is a huge person. So if you're standing here and you would like to work, what will happen is the lighting will hit the back of this person, which means you will not be able to see whatever is happening in front of you. That's why it's better to give lighting under the cabinet to showcase it here. And this is going to show in your elevation or in your section, not in the ceiling plan. Another way is to shift these lightings and keep them somewhere in here. So the lighting will cover this area. Okay, now you can do this as spotlights, or even you can you can add a track light, you can add a hidden light, whichever you prefer to do. So first of all, we need to see if the cupboard is hitting the ceiling. This means I need to add this line here, because this is where my gypsum is going to be. This is where my cabinet is going to be. Okay. Sometimes we can create even openings in the ceiling, so we can keep this line. If the gypsum is going to be one straight line, so no need even to keep this line. Then I'm going to add my spotlights. So for example, I'm going to add one here. So one here, maybe one here, and one here. So this is another one. Okay. So before we do that, let me just show you what I mean with the lighting, which I do have. Yes. So this is the image. This is what I mean with the spotlight. So basically, it's preferable to be between 450 to 600, the spacing that we keep, because it depends on the cabinet. So the cabinet is around 400 or sometimes 300, sometimes 500. So it's better to keep it in this area between these two cabinets so it can cover this part. Okay. Another way to design this space is by creating some kind of groove light, which is something like this. So this again, it will give you some hidden light, which is going to give you lighting on the counter. So for this opening, this is how we're going to draw it in this section. So I do have this part, the gypsum part, which is extended, and then I do have this opening where I can have my hidden light. So if you prefer to do something like this, you can do it, which means I'm going to add this lighting here, this line here, and this line here, and then I'm going to add hidden lines to showcase the strip light on both sides, or you can even keep it on one side. So I'll just keep it on this side, for example. Okay. Now, it is important, as we said, to showcase whatever design you have in your ceiling plan. So let me just change the color of this pen again. So let's say I'm going to give different heights here by taking this line. Maybe I'm going to extend this line like this, and then maybe I'll have something like this, and then something like that. Okay, so you can play around with the lines to showcase your design. So I'm just going to take this part this way. Then maybe I'm going to follow again the same line in the corridor. So I have something like this. Let me just make it smaller. Okay, and for the bedroom again, you can either emphasize this line that you have, or you can even have a different design. Now, all these lines have meanings. These can either be grooves, okay, or they can be different levels. What do I mean by that? If I cut a section on this side, okay, so I do have, this is, I'm just going to take it as lines. Now, of course, you know that we have here walls, slabs, and so on. So if I take this section, it can be something like this for this part. And then for this part, it can be a different level. So it's going down. Okay. This means that I have two different levels. Another way of showing this line in real life in our design is that you're going to keep it all one level, but then for this line you're going to keep it as a groove, which means I'm going to draw it something like this. Okay, this groove, usually the dimension for this groove is around 3 by 3 centimeters. It might be more or less depending on the channel that we find in the market. Okay, so it can be 2 by 2, it can be 2 by 5, and so on. It depends on your design. So this is how we're going to show the groove in this section itself. And then of course for this part, don't forget about it. So I will have something like this. And then I do have my lighting in here as well. Okay, so you can create the design that you want in the ceiling, and then these lines we're going to convert them to some kind of either lighting or levels or grooves or whatever you want. Always keep in mind that the lines that you have in your flooring and in your ceiling they do have a function. So for example, if I keep the lighting, let's just go a bit back. Okay, this is going to take forever. Okay. So when I'm talking about, or when I'm adding a line, for example, to this corridor, when you enter here, if all the lines are taking you this way, so I have the furniture going this side, this line in the ceiling is going this side, this means that I'm taking this person into this area. But if you add different lights, for example, you're trying to take this person into this part, you're extinguishing this line. This means that you're giving a guide for this person whenever he enters the space. So it's very important to keep your lines functioning. They are giving you a purpose in this space. So I'm not going to keep this line this way, which is basically cutting the place here into half, and it's not even giving me any guide toward anything. It's just cutting the space, and it will make it harsh for the eye whenever I see this line. So it's better to always keep your lines smooth. Okay. Let me just follow the same angle. Okay, let's talk about the legend that we're going to add. So it is important to add a ceiling legend to your space. So this ceiling legend that I've created means that I'm going to use this mark as an LED spotlight, this mark as a pendant light. Now, for example, the pendant light, it might look something like this. It might be any other shape, something like this, but all of them are going to have this mark. The same thing goes for the chandelier. So you might have some kind of design in your chandelier, but you will always use this mark. How can I show the shape of my chandelier? I'm going to have a table with the chandelier number and the images for each one. Okay, also I can draw them in the section, but try your best to always have these guides because this is a key that we're going to use in our plan. It's not really the real thing that we're going to add to our plan. It is important to as well showcase any levels you have. So let me just go through the legend one by one. So we have the LED spotlight, pendant, and chandelier. If you have any wall lights, it's good to show them. So for example, maybe I do have a wall light here. So I'm going to show this way. For the hidden light, as you can see, we've already added these hidden lines in here. For the track light, for example, you don't have to have all of them, by the way. You can remove whichever you don't have, and you can add any other things that you have. Okay, so maybe I have some downlight, so I'm going to add another mark and say that this is a downlight. Okay, and so on. If you have any exhaust fans for the bathrooms, you can add them as well in here. If you have any fans, you can add a mark for the fan and you can write it in here. Also, if you have any finishes, you can indicate them using this mark. And you can add another mark for your levels where you can type, for example, plus 150, plus 300, and so on to indicate the levels that you have in your ceiling plan. Okay, so let's start by designing our lighting. Now we have our important lines, the lines that we're going to design in the ceiling. Let's start by adding. I'm just going to explain a few samples that I have, and then you can use them to design your own space. So for example, I do have this shape here for the ceiling, and I'm going to use it for the bedroom. Okay, so as you can see, these are angled, and then I do have this line in here. So this is the first piece, and then the second piece, and of course, inside, since we have a hidden line, this piece is going to be extended, and then I will have something to cut it in here. So, and then I'm going to have my hidden light. So in this section, let's say that this is the section, what you're going to have is you're going to have this line, and then you're going to have this line, and then we're going to close it from this side with gypsum, and then we're going to add a hidden light like this. Okay, so this is for the section. Now how we're going to draw it in the plan, what you're seeing from this side is what you're going to draw. So as you can see, I'm only seeing this part and this part, which means I will only have to draw this line in here. So for this bedroom, let's say I'm going to cut it here. Okay, that's it. This is all I need. But then for the hidden light, I can add these dashed lines this way. Okay, you can create this. So this is how you can draw this part. Now, since these are not straight, I have them this way with an angle. This means that I need to showcase this in the section. It's important to show it in the section as well. Another example that I have is a hidden light, sorry, for the bathroom, which is something like this for the sink. So if I'm going to do this in here, for example, I'm going to take a space, and again, this spacing is usually around 20 centimeters. So I can take this line in here and then add the hidden light. If you don't want to have a straight line, you want to have some other design, you can do so. Maybe I'm going to cut this way. and then I'm just going to add the hidden line for this side. So my hidden light is now in this direction. Okay, so you can play around with the design depending on what you want. The same thing goes for this wall. I can do something like this just to emphasize our line. So as if this line is coming this way. And then again, I'm going to add the dashed line for hidden light. The same thing goes for the shower area. You can keep this box here for the hidden light, which is going to be around 20 centimeters. So I can do this as well on this side. So think about your lighting. Again, sorry, the dashed line will be on this side. Okay, so always think about your lighting, think about how you want to see it in the whole space. Don't just add some random lines and that's it. For this light, as you can see here, this is a wall light. This means that I'm going to take this part of my legend and I'm going to apply it. So I have it here, for example, in the bathroom. Maybe I want to add another lighting here, so I'm going to draw the same shape that I have in my legend. Okay, so this is going to give me lighting on this area. The lighting doesn't have to be this shape, it might be something like this. So again, even if it's this shape, you're going to show it this way with the same way that you have in your legend. Okay, so this is how it will look like. What else do we have? Okay. So if the hidden light is, let's say this is my room. I'll just change the color here. So let's say this is my room. And sometimes you want to have this part down, and then you want the hidden light to be on the corner. Okay? If you have something like this, you will draw the hidden light this way. Okay, which means it's going to eliminate this area. Again, if you have a section, you will see that this is my gypsum ceiling, this is the wall, and then I have this closed this way. So here I have my lighting, okay, which will go to here and then it will reflect this way. Now, if you want to have the opposite side, so let me just go back. If you want it to be the opposite side, which means now in my section, this is the ceiling or the slab and the walls, I want the gypsum panels to be from these sides and then I want them to go up, something like this, and then I want the lighting to be in here, which means that the lighting will illuminate this area. Okay, if you're going to do this, you will see that the drawing in the plan is the same, but then the hidden light will be like this. So you will draw the dashed line on the other part, wherever you're going to fix your lighting. Okay, so it will be the opposite way. Either way, you're going to draw the gypsum panel this way, but then you will have the lighting on the other side. Okay. Another important things to keep in mind. Let me just show you this example. Again, in this example, as you can see, I have this groove here with lighting inside it. So this is how it's going to show in your section. But in your plan, you're just going to have these two lines. You'll have dashed line for the side wherever which contains the lighting itself or the LED strip light. These are other ways of how you can fix the lighting. Now, how you fix the lighting or how you draw it in the section is important. So as you can see here, I do have the lighting here, which is going to only give me lights focused on this area, so it will not give me a proper lighting. If I fix the lighting on this side, it will give me a very harsh lighting going down, but then my gypsum panel will be like this. I don't need any extensions from this side. If you fix it up, again, you're having this extension to hide the strip, so whoever is standing down here, they cannot see the lighting. And this is basically the way that we mostly use. We have this line, and then we have this lighting here, which can give you lighting this way. And if you're standing, again, you cannot see the strip light, but you can see the effect. Okay, there are few rules whenever you're working on your ceiling plan. It is important to follow these rules. Let me just hide whatever we have here at the top. Okay, so these are the rules that we basically follow. We have many more rules, but basically what you need to do is always have any spotlights that you have. You need to make sure that they are following the space. So if I have a painting, I will put the spotlight on top of it. If I have something clashing on the wall, so if I have a cabinet here or an AC, as of this case, I will not add a lighting that is clashing with this part. So as you can see, they move the lighting a bit to the other side, so it's not clashing with the AC. The same thing goes with any cabinet. Always make sure that you're aligning your lighting with your furniture. So I will not have a spotlight, for example, in this bedroom. I will not have a spotlight above the bed because if you're sleeping here, it's in your eyes. But I will add them on the other side so they will give me lighting for the areas where I'm using, and it's going again with the headboard, so I will not add a lighting in the middle between the headboard and the table. So this is going to create a conflict in the design as well. Okay, so I do have this curtain here. I will not add a small spotlight near the curtain, which will illuminate only this area and keep the rest. This is again considered wrong. Also, don't have a grid of spotlights, which means I'm not going to add lighting like this all over my space and say, okay, this is my ceiling fan. This is wrong. Why is this wrong? Because you're adding a lot of lighting in the space and you're not focusing on anything. You're not giving this light any purpose. It's just giving too much lighting in this space without any enough lighting for any functions that we have. So many spotlights will not give you good lighting. A good lighting focuses on the things that we need lighting with a very not harsh ambient light. So as you can see here, if you keep the spacing as 1.2 meters or less, it will be wrong. So what you need is around 2.2 meters between each spotlight. And from the wall or downlight, by the way, this is not even a spotlight, this is only general lighting. So between it and between the wall, you can keep around 1.1 to 1.2 meters. Why we're doing this? Let me just show you a section in here. So this is my room. Now, when you keep this spotlight here, how the lighting is going to be, it's going to give you this cone of lighting. Okay, if I keep another one here, so this is how the lighting will be. So this area will have too much lighting, okay? And especially if you keep them this way, so as you can see, I do have a lot of lighting in this area. So this is going to give you a headache, a very severe headache, and you might not even know why you're getting this headache. Okay, so if I keep this spacing, which is basically around 2 meters, if I keep 2 meters in here, this is how the light is going to be. Okay, so again, this is how the light is going to be. And then from this side, I only need 1 meter, which is half the cone of this lighting. So here you don't have any conflict in the light. Okay, of course, now I need to extend this way. So you don't have a lot of lighting. The lighting is basically covering the whole area. It's giving you lighting everywhere without having a lot of overlap in the cones of light, which means you will not have a harsh lighting that's painful to have in the space. So again, this is the optimized spacing. This is the perfect spacing to have, which is around 2.2 meters between each spotlight and then around 1 meter or 1.1 from the wall. Another mistake that most of the students do is to keep the lighting above the seating area. And if you do this, this is the effect that you're going to get. So this harsh lighting coming on top of you is going to give you a very weird shape, and it will not serve any function because when I'm sitting on the in the sofa, I don't want to see the top of my head. I don't need lighting on top of my head or at my back. What I need to see is basically this area in front of me. So it is important to, first of all, not give this type of shadow on a person, and second of all, to illuminate this area. So don't take these lights and keep them very near to the wall. Keep a bit of a spacing and have them this way. So less lights with more spacing gives you better lighting all over. Okay. So I hope that all of this is beneficial for you. I hope that you have a proper idea about how to draw a ceiling plan right now. So what I'm going to do is, let me just hide everything and I will just design the the ceiling plan for the space that we have, and I'm going to end the video in here. So let me just hide all of these. We can have a clean canvas that we can work on. Okay. So again, I do have my ceiling plan. I do have my ceiling legend here. And now I'm going to start painting. Let me just give another color. Okay, so again, as we said, I will start by adding these curtain box here. So I'll have this line. And then I don't want to add any hidden light, but I will show my curtain this way. Then maybe I want to create some kind of design like this. Okay, just to emphasize any lines. And by the way, these two lines now in the ceiling will take you directly to this area. So it will guide you this way. And then for the kitchen, I'm going to add maybe this part so I can make it smaller, and even I don't have to have this. Maybe I will just have this line with some hidden lights towards this area. Okay, then I'm going to add spotlights. Okay, so this is a spotlight. I'm going to add this spotlight here. Let me just go back to this color. So I have this kind, and again, don't forget to add the shapes. And also make sure that you're not going inside the cabinet, you're not going too much to the back. So around 60 meters is fine. So I'll have maybe one here, and then maybe one here, and then maybe another one here. So this is going to illuminate the surface of the kitchen that I have. Okay, and you might not even need a 3, you can have only 2. It would be much better. Now, if you have lighting under the cabinet, you will not need even these lights. Then I do have a TV in this area, and it's very important that for this TV you don't add any spotlights here because it will create glare in the window of the TV, or so you'll not be able to see the TV very clearly. So maybe I will just add a kind of, it depends on the design, so maybe I will have a kind of wall light on this side. So I'm just going to draw it. Now it depends again on the design. So I might have this. I need to cover the basics of the functions that I have. So I will add a pendant. So let me just keep this So I will add this pendant. Again, I will take the mark that I have. So this pendant, again, make sure that it is in the center of the space, not only, not to the side. Now I do have this issue here. So if I move this a bit to the center, it's going to clash. So let me just go back. Maybe I will erase this line a little bit, and then I'm going to extend something like this, which means now I can have this pendant in here. Okay, again, you're following the same shape. Maybe I want to add a chandelier, and this chandelier is going to be on this table in the center of the seating area. So I will draw something like this. Okay, regardless of the shape of the chandelier, I'm just indicating that it will be in this area. What else can we have? You might want to have difference levels between these two, so maybe I will add some kind of hidden light in here, or maybe I don't even want to have lighting in this area, so I might just want to add a soft hidden light here in the background. So I will do something like this. Okay, so now I have all my task light, all my decorative lights. Maybe if I have some kind of painting on this wall, I will add again another spotlight here to give me lighting on this painting. So I have all my decorative lights, all my task lights. Now I can add more lighting to give a general lighting all over. So I don't have any mark in here for a downlight, so I will just add this circle, and maybe I will add this line, and then I will say that this is a down light. Okay, so for this downlight, I will add maybe one light here. So this is a downlight, and then I think all over we do have enough lighting. Maybe in this area I don't have, so I can add something like this. So now I have enough lighting all over. Now, as you can see, I'm just adding these lights. It's better to group them. It's better to make them more unified. So when I'm seeing the space, they don't look very weird. Let's go to this bathroom now. So for the bathroom, again, I'm going to create some kind of design in the ceiling. And then I'm going to add a spotlight on this area, which is the function that I need to see, and a spotlight on this area to see the sink that I have in here. Maybe I will add a pendant, so I will create something like this, and I will have a pendant going down on this corner to give me again another task light. So this is enough lighting for the bathroom. If you want to add more, you can maybe create some kind of hidden line here to indicate that you have LED lighting to illuminate this area. Okay, now for the corridor, I might have some kind of design in here. And let's say I will create it as a groove. So I'll create something like this with a hidden line, or even no need for all of this. I can just add the hidden lights on this side. So this is going to give me lighting all over for this area. Okay. Now I do have a task in here, so I might need to add a spotlight in this part. And I do have a task as well on the desk, so I need to add, for example, a spotlight, or even if you don't want a spotlight, you can just add a wall light in here that can be, for example, if this is your table, it can be fixed in here, and then it will have something like this, so it will have the lighting on your table. So again, depending on your design. I will just add, maybe I do have some paintings in here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a spotlight to indicate any lighting. It's better to have them all as one line. It's better to give spacing around 80 centimeters to 1 meter from this wall. But again, it depends on the spacing that you already have. So let's say I will take it from this side in here, and then I will have another one to be aligned with the corridor, and then another one in the center of this area. And you will see that it will automatically give you the same spacing in between because the place was designed with taking all these dimensions into consideration. Okay, again, something like this. So we're done with this part. Now going inside, I do have a task in here for the bedroom. So I might do, I forgot about the exhaust fan for the bathroom, so I might add it somewhere in here, maybe. Okay. Now let's focus on this part. For this part, I will do the design that I showed you earlier in the photo, which is something like this with the hidden light. So I'm going to keep this part here, and then I will have this curtain from this side, and then I'm going to cut this part this way, and I'm going to have the hidden light this way, so this is how it will be drawn. And then maybe I will have some kind of hidden light above this cabinet to illuminate this space as well. I think that's it for this part. Now we can have the lighting design. Now we already have a hidden light, so maybe no need for a lot of spotlights. Maybe a small pendant in here. So, and another pendant on this side. If you want to add any more downlights, you can, but we already have enough lighting on this side. And again, maybe I will add lighting on this side, and this is going to be enough. If you prefer to, you can maybe add some kind of a spotlight in here. So this is going to design whatever we add to this wall. Yeah, that would be fine. Now for this here, we can as well add another spotlight, or if you want to, you can add a wall light. This is depending on what you prefer. For the bathroom, again, I will create some kind of design here with the wall, and then I'm going to add hidden light for the shower area, spotlight above the WC, spotlight above the sink, and maybe you can even add two here in the shower. This is more than enough, but if you want, you can as well add another pendant on the table. So here it is. This is our ceiling design for the space. Again, you don't have to follow the same design. Each one can design it on its own way. And again, the design may differ depending on, maybe for the same space, we can have 4 to 5 options of lighting, depending also on the elevation that you have for the space and all the other details that we have in the walls and so on. So I hope that this video is beneficial for you. I hope that you've learned something, and waiting to see you place all the information that you got today in your designs. Thank you for listening.